All right, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. First order of business is roll call.
Thank you. Chair Wilson.
Here.
Vice Chair Kurth.
Here.
Commissioner Huber.
Here.
Commissioner Porter.
Oh, here, sorry.
And Commissioner Dew.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and open with the invocation Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Huber and Commissioner Porter. Please rise.
Bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to live and work in a democratic society and participate in its governance. Please give us the wisdom to make decisions in the best interests of the citizens of the city of Victorville.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
All right, our first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from our September 9th, 2015 meeting.
So move.
Second.
So we have a first by Commissioner Dew, a second on those minutes by Vice Chair Kurth. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those minutes are approved.
All right, we'll go ahead and move over to agenda item number 1.
Wilson, before we get started on that one, I'd like to announce that I have a possible real estate conflict of interest on that parcel of land, and I would request to recuse myself for this.
Just a matter of housekeeping. If anyone wishes to speak to any items, if you would please fill out a white card and give it to the clerk and for any of the items that will be for the commission this evening. Thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
Chairman Wilson, fellow commissioners. Item number 1 is case PLN 15-00031. It is a conditional use permit to allow for an extended stay hotel and a site plan to allow for the construction of a 106-room hotel with an environmental exemption. This is located at the southwest corner of Amargosa Road and La Mesa Road. Staff has recently met with the applicant, and there is a new proposal that was handed out in the workshop. It's an option E that was presented. The applicant's here and would like to discuss that option with you further. Staff would agree that there's been some strides made to comply with our commercial design guidelines, and we kind of want to leave it to the commission after they have some dialogue on this option as it relates to approving the project, specifically the option 2 that was presented in the staff report. We think staff is supportive of that being modified to the Planning Commission's liking if you want to include option E, subject to the Director of Development's approval. There are some other deviations that the Planning Commission would have to approve on this project, none of which that haven't been approved before. There is a parking shortage of 6 stalls. It's about a 6% deviation. Planning Commission in the past has approved up to a 10%. There's a justification statement that the applicant has provided. It's basically based off of when the employees will be there during the day, when that's a time when the residents aren't. Their peak time is during the evening, where most of the employees would not be there. Also, the Planning Commission will have to approve the project above a 45-foot height limit, which has been done before, and the code allows for that discretion from the Planning Commission. With that, we're available if you have any questions. Thank you.
All right, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing on item number 1. I have a card from Bob Tuttle.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity of being here and being involved with with you in this exciting project for Peter and Tom Roberts, who are the owners, and to Catherine, who is their manager. Tom and Catherine are here today. Peter is in Minnesota, so he's a little bit far away today to be here. But the project is the Hilton Home 2, and I'm sure that you've had a chance to perhaps look through some of the information about the Hilton product. The Home 2 is a new prototype that Hilton issued a few years ago. It's a very successful product for Hilton. It's extended stay, and there is yet to be one built in California. We hope to be the first one that's built. I think there's one that's perhaps started construction, but I'm not sure. But our firm, we personally have a number of these on the board right now, the Hilton Home 2. There are 7 of them in Utah. There are quite a number of them in Texas that are up and operational, and they are a very successful product. And for that reason, a lot of hotel owners want to do the Hilton Home 2 product. It's a new one. The idea is that it's extended stay, and each guest room has its own little living area, its own kitchenette, and a king-size bed. There are a number of amenities with the project as well, including an indoor swimming pool and the business center. There's an outdoor area with an outdoor fire pit for the evening, entertainment and relaxing, that sort of thing, and a fitness center as well. So I know that isn't much of a description. Do you have any questions about the brand?
I don't. I actually like the idea. I'm very pleased. Question I do have is, looking at the color chart that we received tonight, on the second page, it's under Support A, there's an Option 1, Kerlite, Buxy, and Nauset Natural Finish, or Option 2, Lavantina, and this Teclam. What are the differences in colors on those? I mean, what is like the front page one and
Okay.
the page another, or?
Yeah, let me try to explain what's happened here on this project. When we first met with Scott and the planning staff, they wanted to see more stone on the building, and I do a lot of Hilton hotels, and generally speaking, there's a lot of latitude in the design, so I put more stone on the tower near the entry, and had some other deviations from their prototype, and that was submitted to the city, and it was also submitted to George Snowd at Hilton Hotels, who is our project architect that we work with, and George approves all the projects that we do. Well, several weeks later, George sent back a memo to me, and he said, absolutely no vertical stone on this building. He said, because this is a new prototype, he said, what Hilton wants to see is they want to have a recognizable brand, so that no matter where someone goes in the country, they recognize the design and the style of the building, and there's certain design motifs that Hilton is requiring on this project, and I will not allow you to do any vertical stone. And so me and the owners, we sort of regrouped at that point to try to figure out what to do, and we submitted a second design to Scott that took the vertical stone off, and as we reviewed the Hilton design options, they have 7 basic options that they're prototype and they've approved, and so we reviewed those options and found that there was one of them that was quite close to what we had submitted that would not require going to Hilton for committee approval. I've got one of the home twos that I'm working on right now is in Temecula, and we've asked for a deviation on the horizontal bands on the building, and because of that request, it doesn't get approved just at George Snode's level. George has to send it to committee, so it takes quite a while because Hilton right now is extremely busy. They have a lot of projects. So what we have decided to do is to select the option that we felt the owners liked the design, as well as it met the city requirements for varying materials, because one of the requirements the city design guidelines is to provide different materials. And so this option E that we selected yesterday, finally, we selected option E yesterday, and I made an attempt to try to render those on the building last night and get it to Scott this morning. And there are a few discrepancies, but under option E, which is the second page of what Scott handed you.
This one right here? Okay.
So this option E shows the large format tile, and they have 2 approved tiles. Now, when I talked to George Snode about a week ago about this project, I explained the situation that we were in, and I said, we could get denied, George. And he said, normally I would give you design leeway, but this isn't a Hampton Inn, a recognized brand. It's not a Homewood Suites. It's not a Hilton Garden Inn. This is a brand new product, and I am going to insist that you stick with the design prototype guidelines. And that was about a week ago, and in the meantime, we've selected that we felt option E provided a lot of what the city had asked for, and the owners felt that this was an attractive design. So the support area, which is this base, Hilton wants a stone or tile base on the building, and under option E, there's 2 options for a tile. And I looked on the internet for this Leventina, option 2. I could not find it. But I did find the Kerlite Buxy, and it's a brown, it's a large format, it's a 3-foot square tile product. The core is the horizontal banding in the building, the large horizontal bands, and this is a kind of a gray-blue color, and it's proposed to be stucco under their prototype. And the wrap is this element that comes up and down and doesn't go to the floor, to the ground. And in the original design, I had extended these tower elements all the way to the ground because architecturally, to me, it looked weak if they didn't go to the ground. George said, absolutely not. You cannot take those to the ground. So I've lifted them up. Hilton wants a base that thing sits on. So they want the appearance of a stone base with this element sitting on it, and those elements don't extend to the ground. So that was another change that I made in the design to comply with the guidelines. And so that's C, and on the color board, that's that light brown Alexandria beige type color. And on our color board, the Perex, the 4th one over, are these metallic bands, and Hilton requires those to be aluminum. And I've mislabeled them on my board, but those would be aluminum bands there. The link portion is this tower element, and also this vertical element between these 2 pieces, and this occurs in several places on the building, and that under option E is called out to be corrugated metal panels with a dark brown finish color on it. And so that approximates that color. It's not exact, but it's pretty close. And then the beacon elevation, E accent band. Oh, I already talked about that. How did I get that one?
Okay.
Anyway, I jumped around, but that's that accent band that's intended to be aluminum, the horizontal bands in the building there. And the canopy is a steel canopy painted white. The other element that is not mentioned here is the very top piece here is that is to be white glass illuminated. They want that to glow at night, like a beacon.
Where the green? Oh, the very top above the green.
Yeah, the very top above the green, correct. And so that is a translucent white glass that's backlit with a light behind it. So basically, what I'm trying to say here is that George Snode sent me a memo yesterday that said, if you follow the design guidelines of option E, then your project will be pre-approved by us, basically. We don't have to go to committee. I don't have to do anything special. So our intent here is to present this option as what we were proposing to do, and hopefully to be expeditious for everyone involved. And we also think it's an attractive building. It's got a lot of variation in color, a lot of variation in material, and there's a lot of plane changes in the building, as you can see. So in a nutshell, that is what we're proposing here tonight. And there's been some concern from staff about the fact that our drawings are behind. Our drawings don't reflect all these detailed items at this point because we just decided to do this yesterday, basically. We haven't had time to wrap up, to make the drawings consistent, but we're more than happy to make the drawings consistent so that the drawings call out these materials, but as long as we adhere to these colors and materials, then we have an approval, kind of a pre-approval with Hilton on the design. So that's where we're at on the elevations, and that's kind of why there's been so much confusion. It's a lot my fault because I made the assumption in the beginning with Hilton that we would be able to deviate from the design like we've done on other projects, but I don't think that's the case here. As a matter of fact, I know that's not the case. So that's where we are.
Okay.
That help?
Bob, what's the height of the tower with the glass?
That I don't have in front of me. Do you have that in front of you, Scott?
Yeah, it was the height of 56 feet.
56 feet?
Yes.
So it's 11 feet higher than the building.
Yes, it's 9 feet taller than the parapet height.
Is that including the base that it's sitting on?
The
Yes,
main parapet line, your main roof line, we measured it at 47 feet. That main beacon area goes up to another 9 feet, so a total of 56 feet.
Yeah, so
I don't have the measurements of just the translucent glass, though, if that's what you're asking for. I would estimate around 4 feet.
No questions?
No, I'm finished right now, yeah.
Chairman? Yes, thank you. First of all, let me state to the petitioner that it's a delight to see that you want to put this project within the city of Victorville. And I'll just share some things with you. The motto for the city of Atlanta is City with Unlimited Possibilities. The motto for Apple Valley is A Better Way of Life. And for Barstow, it is Crossroads and Opportunity. and I can't figure out what the motto is for Hesperia, but nevertheless, the motto for the city of Victorville is a great place to live, work, and play. And with that said, a great place, in my view, is incumbent upon myself and my colleagues to make sure that the city of Victorville strive for greatness. I believe that this project enhances the city of Victorville's image. And so, as I read the information before me, I want to make you aware that I'm a traveler. I no longer fly anymore, but I am on Interstate 10, and so I have stayed at one of your facilities off of Interstate 10, and so I'm familiar with it. Also, I've had the opportunity many times to stay in Homewood Suites because it fits my family in Virginia Beach for what we want to do and visiting other family members. So I'm very familiar with this product. And so I made a recommendation, or I gave suggestions, things to look at as relates to a design of a Home 2, and they are the following. Cafferty, Texas is one location. San Antonio, Texas, I heard you even mention in your testimony, Texas, that you're familiar with projects in Texas, and also Charlotte, North Carolina, which I have not stayed in that one. I can assure you that. So, also in your testimony, I think I made it. You made a point. I didn't want to interpret this. I know that there are some people, when it comes to negotiation or things they care to do, they have the mindset of all or nothing. I don't take it that that's your position or Hilton's position. And my take in my negotiations and real estate dealings and elsewhere is that I like to see how close we can get to the middle to make sure that everybody gets what they want and everybody is prosperous in doing so. I would insist that you work with the staff diligently because I'm not an expert at this. The only thing I do is assess information that's given to me. And I have a lot of experience in doing that because this is no ordinary project. This is a significant project. It could end up being one of the tallest buildings within the city of Victorville. And the cities that do have the tallest building are San Francisco, Los Angeles, Sacramento, Oakland. They have the tallest building, exceeding 700 feet. And LA will have the tallest building, or has it, over 1,000 feet. So this is significant. So we're not going to take this lightly. And even if there's a cause for a delay or continuance, it's necessary because we do take it serious. This is a very major project, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to share my views with you because I think it's important. And I yield back to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Du.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Could I make one more comment or two? Right now we're doing the working drawings on the project. We hope to have them ready to submit to the city before Thanksgiving, so they can we can go through a plan check and hopefully get permits at the beginning of the year, and begin construction right after the first of the year. I know that's an aggressive schedule, but that's what we're pushing for. And I respect the fact that we would like to work with staff, but we would also hope that we would not get detained here for a month or so, and not be able to move forward. So, with that said, I'm not sure where it goes, but we would hope that we could get the approval tonight based on this moving forward with the concept, or the design concept E that we've suggested, which we believe meets the intent of the city design guidelines.
Good.
Okay. Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman, I would like to ask the director, have you seen everything necessary in order for the commission to move forward in improving this, or is there a need to see certain materials that are going to be utilized that satisfy the city of Victorville in moving forward that will cause this project to go to a continuance? And I must admit this to you. I believe that expedience is no substitute for excellence. I've never found that to be the case. So if it takes a week or so, or the next commission meeting, in order for the project to be as close to excellent or perfect as possible, that's necessary. And my background has always called for that. I was in the medical profession, so that's my take, that's my career. So I don't believe that just because we get something done in a hurry, that it's going to be the best product.
Right. Well, and I agree with you. We don't want a product that's inferior in any way, and we believe that what we're proposing is an excellent product. So let's see if we can figure out a way to move forward.
What I'd like to do is see if there's any additional comments, public comments. I'll close public comments, and then Chris, if you could answer.
Sure. I think that we can certainly get there from here. I think what staff and the applicant are asking for is the commission to see if you agree. If you agree that the materials on option E are acceptable, then we would like to modify option 2 to say that. That way I have clear direction that what we're working with. If you don't, you think that's too restrictive, then just approve option 2 as it is. You can. I'm not sure that that's not what the applicant is looking for. The applicant is looking for a clear direction to work on the materials in option E.
But you haven't seen all of the materials, and so
I haven't
that's
seen all of those, but
that's
I'm
the
sure
reason why
in
option 2
talking
is.
with the architect before this meeting, I'm comfortable with being able to come to a resolution.
So if the way that option 2 is right now written, that would satisfy that
It would do
small
both.
concern.
You're right. They would
Okay.
they would like the commission to refer it further so that I don't change anything on them that requires Hilton
Yeah.
to review.
But I think you still have to see the materials, and that's why I'm in favor of option 2.
All right. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to agenda item number 1? All right, I'll go ahead and close public comment and bring it back to the commission for discussion.
I'm a little confused. What's the difference between option 2 and option 4? Aren't we approving the project as proposed by the option E on this? Kind of.
Exactly. Because that option E is just a picture or a rendering in a Hilton design guidelines that we just saw today at 4 o'clock, and the picture in front of it is their actual design.
Okay.
We're supposed to blend those two. The architect's going to return with the materials shown on option E put onto their building, and then we'll work through it.
So you want option 2 to work
It's
with.
hard to say that as
Option
proposed.
2, just because it calls for the revisions.
If you would like to modify
That's not
option 4
necessarily revising.
and say that,
Well, I
I
want
guess
to. I want to have staff see the plans before, if there's something major that you don't want totally, then maybe you call a special meeting. I guess if it's such an important project to get through as fast as can. I'd like to see the project go. I like the project. To me, it looks really, really nice. So I would hate to delay it a month if we had to. So I guess I'm talking to the applicant and staff.
But I think that if option 2 gives us still the control that we want to make sure that it meets our guidelines, and it might not delay it one iota. If they bring in the products and you say, boy, that looks nice and it will look nice on that building, then everything is satisfied and they can go forward. So I don't see anything wrong with option 2. It gives us a little bit of, not a lot. I mean, we basically agree with the building and everything, but it's just a few little bitty things. So I don't think that will hurt them. It won't cause them any delay.
Well, it shouldn't. It
No.
really shouldn't. Okay. What else do you need on the height and the parking stalls? Do you need anything else on that?
Those are written
Staff
into the
or-
approval.
Pardon?
Those are written into the approval of the resolution.
Okay.
If you want to, you agree to state that you agree with the findings made in your motion, that would be good.
Want me to make the
Sure.
okay? Okay. I move
Wait a
that.
minute.
I want to be clear. What exactly, specifically, what it is that we're going to do? Are we going for option number 2? And okay, option number 2.
That's what my motion is going to be.
Okay,
Option
and
number 2.
It has a little minor condition to it
okay,
that they will provide the products that he has some concerns about. And they might not be concerns at all. They just might be perfect, you know.
I just want to make sure that the petitioner knows full well that the commitment is for them to demonstrate a willingness to work with the staff as
Well,
relates to
They don't.
providing those materials in which or designs that we're seeking. Do we have that commitment?
Thank you. We're very willing and able to work with staff, and we want to work with staff so that everyone has a good feeling about this. But the one thing that we would hope to avoid is having a major problem with the design that would trigger us having to go back to Hilton and having and if it has to go to the committee, then we're going to have a significant delay. So I don't know if it's possible to add a condition that if the city's okay with the general direction of that option E, and we meet the intent, but we work out the details of that concept with the final materials and the colors with staff, that would really help us, rather than getting in a situation where we've got to make a major substitution, and then it triggers a design review at Hilton, and we got to go to committee. So
I think
that
that's
was my
where-
only concern.
Into option number 2.
I think that's where we're at.
Yes.
Okay.
No, actually, we're not. If that's where we're at, if that's where you're at, then I would suggest we add the language that says, in I don't know what the word is, cooperation or in
Okay.
coordination with option E from Hilton that's what they're looking for, and that's what I would agree needs to be in there. What they don't want is me to turn around and say, I don't like option E, I like option G. It's a totally different material, it's a totally different colors, it's a totally different thing. They have to turn around and go to Hilton. That's what they don't want. So if you're okay with metal on these panels, corrugated metal on these panels, then give that direction through option 2. Change option 2 a little bit to state that, and that way I have clear direction that we're working with these materials. So, and you guys said that. You said you're on that. We're on that path. So just modify the
We're-
condition a little bit to add the wording that option E is where we're headed.
No, but if you do that, then if you do any little changes, they may not like that, and the little changes might be what we're looking for in our
And that's what I'm a little bit concerned with. He said it's an S-shaped corrugated. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what, we don't know. I'd like to see the
That's
sample.
going to be easy enough for him to bring you a sample, and and that shouldn't take him very long at all.
And based upon the wording, the developer shall add substantive material changes to the exterior of the building subject to the review and approval of the Director of Development. Does that...
Paul, I guess if it makes you feel better, if it doesn't work out with option E, I don't have to approve it. I can send it back. We can call a special meeting like Larry said. If it doesn't work out, then we come back here and
Oh,
you guys take
Yeah,
care
we
of it.
could have a special meeting. There's no reason why we couldn't, because we don't want to delay him. But on the other hand,
And I'm not
we
saying
want to
I'm headed that
satisfy
way. I'm
our
just saying that-
requirements and your requirements. That's what we're really getting at. So,
So add the option E language. If it doesn't work out, it comes back to commission. Then it wouldn't be complying with the condition.
okay.
If it makes you feel better.
I move to find the project categorically exempt per CEQA Section 15332 and adopt resolution number P15045 approving the conditional use permit portion of case number PLN 1500031 and adopt resolution number P15046 approving the site plan portion of case number PLN 1500031 with the addition of a condition of approval to read: the developer shall add substantive material changes. Well, they've done most of the changes. They will add material changes to the exterior of the building subject to the review and approval of the Director of Development, with the understanding that we will basically be following scheme option E.
Second.
All right. We have a motion by Commissioner Porter, a second by Commissioner Huber, to approve this project with using option 2, but the design guideline, the design of option E, the design E, with the discretion of the Director of Development, Chris Borchert, on the material choices. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The project has been approved with those changes to the condition.
Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to agenda item number 2.
Thank you, Chairman Wilson. Agenda item number 2 is case PLN 15-00033. It is a conditional use permit with an environmental exemption to allow for the reestablishment and alteration of a non-conforming single-family residence within a C1 neighborhood service commercial district. This is located at 11560 Highway 395. The applicant is requesting this approval after a fire demolished the main primary structure on the site. Historically, the parcel has been used for a residence, and it was used as a residence before the city annexed it and changed it to a commercial designation along Highway 395. Currently, the applicant's not able to use the property as anything because they would have to convert it to commercial, and they would have to go through all of the site plan requirements, build a parking lot, landscaping. Staff isn't very supportive at this time because it's a skinny parcel. There's access issues to Caltrans's Highway 395. So we'd want to coordinate in sometime in the future a more master plan of that area. So right now the applicant just wants to use it as a residence. The barn structure that's at the rear of the site would be the primary dwelling unit, would be converted to have a full kitchen. And then building 2 would be the accessory garage that has a guest room in it. The project complies with the city's design, complies with the development standards of Title 16, and it's in the full discretion of the Planning Commission to allow this conditional use permit for them to reestablish this non-conforming use. Staff supports the proposal, and we're here if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Confused a little bit. What's happening to building 1? Nothing? I'm still...
There's no expansion to building 1. Building 1 was a barn originally, but it functioned as like a guest house at one time as well. That's being converted to their primary residence. There was a larger structure that was attached to building 2 that burnt to the ground. That was their primary dwelling. So there is some conditions in there to remove the foundation that's still there, and some other requirements to just keep the site maintained.
Yeah, I was confused. This proposal will make the existing barn the primary residence. So I'm sorry. Took me forever to find it.
All right, I'll go ahead and open the public comment for agenda item number 2. Is there anyone that wishes to speak to this item?
Good evening,
Good
council members and staffs. My name is Jay Park, representative of the owners. And this building originally built by 1990. Owner built 3 different building structures with a nice exterior siding. And about 10 years later, the main house is burned down. So main house is totally burned down. We demolished it, and we have still pad, but the other 2 buildings still standing, is good condition. We checked it, structurally it's safe, but we proposed with that 2 structure remodel with the new up-to-date code as a primary residence and 3-car detached garage. So we'll bring up to the code, and this is very nice building, and structure that time built was 1990. It was very good condition, so we're gonna keep as existing structure. We're not changing any outside. We do only interior remodel and add doors and windows, room additions. So we'll do beautify. This is very nice on the 395 highway, very outstanding building. So owner wants to keep that building. It's very good location and conditions are very good. So we propose the city to make a primary residence as a residential. But the code changed to, zoning changed to C. So we tried first time submit to rebuild this house, then it was a problem with the zoning. So the city staff help us that change back to original residential condition as use as primary residence, as like we propose conditional use permit. So that's what it is.
Very good. Well, I'm glad to see something is potentially going to be happening with the house, because I drive by quite often, and it was a nice house, and it's still, the other 2 buildings are very nice looking. So, yeah, it would be nice to see something happen with it.
Okay, thank you.
If you could, when we're finished, if you could please just fill out a white card and give it to
I
the
will
clerk.
do that.
Thank you.
Additionally, can I have some comments? Sure. Well, that's Main Street 395 highway. There's many cars passing by, but unfortunately, we had a lot of burglary coming to attack this building, and a lot of trashes. They dumped out the yard. So we tried to clean it. We had some couple of police report. House has vandalized, and we tried to get some temporary power for like this surveillance camera or something, security, but we cannot do anything. So that's what we propose as possible, to get something temporary power and protect the property.
I'm not familiar with how building department. Okay, you would have to see them at the building department. So,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Any additional questions? No. Thank you. Then close public comment.
Chairman, I'll find the project category exempt per sequence section 15301 existing facilities and adopt resolution number P-15-047 approving case number PLN 15-00033 subject to the attached conditions of approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Huber, a second by Commissioner Dew, approving this project. I'll take the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So that project has been approved per the conditions of approval.
And I'll move to agenda item number 3, which is a request for a second continuance to our November 18th, 2015 meeting. Do I need to open up public comment relating to?
Yeah, you should.
I'll go ahead and open up public comment for agenda item number 3. If there's anyone wishing to speak to agenda item number 3. Hearing none, I'll go ahead and close public comment. ahead and make a motion to continue to our November 18th, 2015 meeting.
Second.
So we have a motion by Chair Wilson and a second by Commissioner Porter to continue this item to the next Planning Commission meeting, which is actually a special Planning Commission meeting to be held on November 18th due to the November 11th Veterans Day holiday. So this item will be continued to November 18th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That will be heard during our special meeting on November 18th.
All right, in compliance with the Brown Act, it is necessary for the Planning Commission to make available time for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on items of interest that fall within the Planning Commission's subject matter jurisdiction. Please limit the length of your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone that wishes to address the Planning Commission? And then I'll go ahead and close public comment. On to our presentation of reports by commission members.
I have nothing.
Oh.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Once again, as relates to a tragedy occurring in our society, it goes to prove to us that we're no longer where we used to be as relates to tragedies. I convey my sympathies to our neighboring state, Oregon, and I regret that things like that happen. In addition to that, I'd also like to state, with the motto, I believe that the Commission does move forward in indicating that the City of Victorville is a great place to live, work, and play. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
may I?
Yes, please.
I would like to let you know that Scott Webb was recently promoted from senior planner to city planner and is now in charge of the planning division of the development department.
Congratulations.
Yes, very good.
All right. I mean, you guys are switching chairs?
We probably will in the near future.
Very nice. And I have nothing. So I'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting until our next meeting, November 18th, 2015.
I want to thank staff for trying to work this project. It really kind of negative in the paper yesterday, and kind of headlines in the paper. I got a bunch of phone calls, and it just made the city look kind of bad with the applicant and. Well, I want to thank staff for mates.
Thank you.
But that little bit of control is what you needed, because they did that at the very last minute.